Alright, let's try this again. So, this video is about 3D printing and how to do it for free, or how to do it right for free on a resin printer that you have. This process will not apply to a filament printer, but it should apply to any resin printer. There's a difference when you're trying to print on a resin printer versus a filament printer because of the structure of the print. So this is the free process that I use to make sure that the 3D prints come out correctly, and it does take a bit of work on a resin printer to make sure they do come out correctly rather than a filament printer. If you're doing any print on a filament printer, you would just do the following. So filament printer, you would open up your Anycubic software, Cura software, and you would import your print. It would sit level with the board, and you would just make sure that your printer settings are in there correctly, minus Anycubic i3 Mega, PLA, whatever your filament is, and then you would just put in like a support if you need to, and print. That's it. The infill you can do however you like here, and it should come out pretty good as long as your printer is set up. But if you try to do this on a resin printer, you might have several issues. One, you would first need a different software. So I would recommend Lychee Slicer, right? So that is the software you need. Second, if you try to print this model, which is not hollow, it is filled inside, on a resin printer, you're going to have a large area that's trying to stick to the filament, to the build plate, as well as to the film, or like the LCD portion, and that might cause failure. So what you need to do is minimize the amount of layers or surface area that is touching the LCD at all times. Also, you need to make sure that there's a vacuum, so there's no vacuum in the print. So you have to go layer by layer and analyze it. So this is how I do it. If this model has been just taken for free from some website, I don't remember which one, but I think it's just called Barge. It's called 19286 River Barge, if you want to look it up. Okay, so if you go ahead and import this into Lychee Slicer, you're gonna see that this model has a lot of issues, right? So unfortunately, you would need to, there's like 30,000 holes in here, and you need to pay to fix it. So if I try to repair the model here, it's not gonna work. So you would need like a model that's either designed for Lychee Slicer or for a resin, or you'd need to fix it in this following way. First, you would download Autodesk Mixer for free, right? You would open your Barge in Autodesk Mixer for free. Here it is. And then you can export this, and it will come out pretty well. The other way is open up your Ultimaker software, and then save this as an object file, and it will also come out properly like this. However, if you want to minimize how much resin you use, the following steps should be taken. So if it's a full barge like this, it might fail because there's a lot of basically surface area that's touching the build plate. So in this case, I've hollowed it out for free with Autodesk Mixer, and this is the steps to do so. So you'd load up your model in Autodesk Mixer. You select your model. Come on, go. If it doesn't freeze on me. So you'd do this, and then you click hollow, and then it would display the hollow area inside. So the offset is the wall thickness of the distance between the outside surface and the inside surface. So in this case I did 1.5 millimeters, but you can do like 1 millimeter or something if you really wanted hollow. Let's say like whatever, 1.25. You're gonna do update hollow. So it's gonna show you the hollow area inside the barge. Okay, so you can accept that. Perfect. So now that you have this hollowed out barge, you can do file, I believe it is export. You're gonna export it as an object file, save it. Okay, now you can open up with your lychee slicer. Let's just delete this guy. Go ahead and orient it however you need to, but I will show you how to orient it. I'll show you how to orient it. So before that, you'd have to actually go to prepare, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a hollow tool, and because the hollowing portions will create vacuums, you basically have to go through layer by layer. So there's a layer slider here, layer by layer, and make sure that, see how this portion here, if there's no hole here, it would just become a vacuum. So in this case, because the outside layer is touching the build plate, this will create a vacuum up against the LCD screen, and this print will fail. So what you need to do is you need to go to holes, you select cylinder or cube, however you like to, adjust the diameter and perimeter of the hole, and you need to add a hole manually into this basically vacuum creating hollow area. So you have to do this for every single hollow area. So in this case there is a slight hollow, but it's probably okay. And then see how this is no longer white, so this is not hollow anymore. Just gonna keep going. So there's another area that would be hollow in this case. So you need to put like a hollow here to relieve the pressure of the vacuum. And so you continue to do this through the whole ship until you have a hollow ship that has a couple of holes in it so that there are no vacuums being created. And so this is the method that I use to make sure that the print doesn't fail. Because, you know, I forgot, I haven't done this in 2 years. I just literally just loaded in this model. I was like, oh, remember the trick. I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, copy from Anycubic back to here. But then, yeah, so that didn't work. Also, just a reminder, make sure that your printer settings are up to date. So I don't think I updated the firmware, but that's one thing to do. Make sure your resin is up to date. So I went ahead and found that my resin is the plant-based Anycubic resin. I just made sure to use the most used one. Or if you're changing resins, make sure to update your resin. And then when you can go ahead and export, if you're doing smoothing or not to the print, you can select it here and make sure you export it as a PWMX file so that to the USB stick, so that the MonoX can go ahead and recognize it. So this print actually says that it's going to take me almost 3 hours to print, and because I put in the price of the resin for myself here, it says it's going to cost me 66 cents Canadian. So, which isn't bad for a ship here, 66 cents. Okay, perfect. So now that I have this video, I remember how to do it next time. Please remember myself, please watch this video, and remember to use first the Ultimaker Kura Make sure to use your Autodesk mesh mixer to hollow out if you need to, and orient and make holes the correct way. Also make sure that the holes are facing the right way, so that they should be, I believe, facing the build plate. Right, build plate, not the other way. So whenever you orientate it towards the build plate. Okay, yeah, that's about it. Good luck.